Yeah, up to now, what we had discussed was our torque slip characteristics. We had derived the equation of our torque, and today's class, what we'll do is understand the torque slip characteristic little bit into detail by analyzing the torque equation, or rather, we'll study the torque equation into little bit more detail, understand the starting torque, the maximum torque, and relations between all the torque quantities, because those relations will be required for you to solve problems and all. Today, mainly we'll have a mathematical class and some graphical explanation, and continuation of the last lecture only, because we'll use formulas and derive all those things in today's class. So it's a continuation of last day's class. Whatever we had applied in the equivalent circuit and found out all the relations, those are required over here. So we have to calculate our maximum torque. If you recall your fact like this one, if you find out this torque slip characteristic, at this point our torque was coming out to be maximum. So what is the maximum value of torque that an induction motor can develop is very important for calculation. And at that point, what is the slip at maximum torque is SMT. So this calculation is very important, SMT, and what is the value of that maximum torque is very important. So today we'll go into those calculations. So in order to calculate your maximum internal torque, we have to find out the maximum power at the output, because power is proportional to your torque. From that power only you can find out your torque. That's why we need to find out maximum power at the output. So we'll apply maximum power transfer theorem. So this is our equivalent circuit of induction motor. We had our Thevenin's equivalent voltage, the Thevenin's equivalent impedance, and this was our load part, that is our rotor side. And now we'll apply maximum power transfer theorem. Now what happens in maximum power transfer theorem? If in a load maximum power is to be transferred, what is my load? R2 by S. If in a load maximum power is to be transferred, then this R2 by S, which is nothing but the your load value, should be equal to the magnitude of this Re plus Jx of the total term. So this is my circuit. So Re plus Jx plus Xc plus X2 will be the total impedance of this side. So if maximum power is to be transferred in this side, this R2 by S should be equal to the impedance of this circuit only. If you remove this R2 by S from this circuit, what is the impedance? Re plus Jxc plus X2. Those two impedance should be equal. Then only maximum power will be transferred to the load. So Xc plus X2 here I have taken as capital X. So that becomes Re plus Jx, and this becomes root over Re square plus X2 square. So at this point, your maximum power is this transfer to the load. So you will get a maximum torque over there, and the slip at this torque will be SMT. So instead of writing S over here, I have written SMT. Yes, slip at maximum torque. What will be slip at maximum torque? S goes in this right hand side. This square root term comes on this denominator. So SMT becomes R2 by square root of Re square plus X2 square. So this is a very important formula. So I have given number 1. This formula will require in the next slides or next calculation. So SMT is R2 by square root of Re square plus X square. Now, from our last day calculations. Okay, last day, if I take my slide over here, you found out a torque relation. This was a torque relation, and we had replaced by some Kt constants, and we got this equation. T is equal to Kt by Re square, Re by R2 by S whole square plus X square into R2 by S. So those equation we'll use it now also. So our torque equation is this one, Kt by root square Re plus R2 by S whole square plus X square into R2 by S. Now what will be the maximum value of this torque? If this has to be maximum, T has to be maximum. These are all are quantities of your induction motor, right? RT, R2, RE is dependent on some quantities. Those are obtained from your means open circuit test and short circuit test. So what can change over here is your S. So what will be the S now? SMT. Now S will be replaced by SMT. At this slip, which torque occurs? Maximum torque occurs. So T can be replaced with TEM, torque of maximum value. So S is replaced by SMT, and over here also there is a S, so it is replaced by SMT over here. Now, if you see in equation 1, from here, R2 by SMT, this is SMT, so R2 by SMT is root over RE square plus X square. R2 by SMT is equal to root over RE square plus X square. So we'll replace all those values wherever I am getting R2 by SMT, this term. So we'll replace by root over RE square plus X square, root over RE square plus X square. Next, what we'll do? We'll do some calculations. We'll multiply the numerator like this directly. And in the denominator, we'll just simplify it. This is A whole square means A plus B. This is A, this is B. A plus B whole square. That gives you A square, that is RE square. So first term is RE square plus B square. That means this term RE square plus X square. So RE square plus X square. Okay, square root removes. Then you have another X square term over here. Then you have another X square term over here written over here. Then 2AB, 2 into RE into root over RE square plus X square. So 2 into RE plus root over into root over RE square plus X square. So we are breaking this term into A plus B whole square plus we are adding this X square term. So we'll get this expression. So there are 2 RE squares, 2 X square. So I can take 2 common and write down RE square plus X square plus 2 RE root over RE square plus X square. Now if you take 2 root over RE square plus X square in the denominator common. So if you take this one in the denominator common, so over here there is a RE square plus X square, so obviously a square root of this term will remain, because I have taken only square root part over here, so only square root part remains over here, square root of RE square plus X square. Then this 2 and root over RE square plus X square is taken common. What is left behind is RE. So we have only RE over here. So this RE square square root, this square root terms cancels out. So you have KT by 2 square root of RE square plus X square plus RE. So this is our formula for maximum torque. All these equations in your semester exam you can be asked to derive the maximum internal torque for a 3-phase induction motor. So you you have to write this expression. So you have to draw this one and say that we will apply maximum transfer power transfer.
Torque কি derive করে তারপর maximum torque করব না এমনি ওই ইকুয়েশন থেকে শুরু করে দেব?
Direct from this equation. We know that this one. If I am asking maximum torque internal calculation, direct from this equation. Yes, direct from T. Kintu you have to draw this circuit and apply maximum transfer theorem like I have written over here. No need to write all these points. You can draw this circuit. You write applying maximum power transfer theorem. We get R2 by S is equal to this one, and SMT from here is this one, and then we'll follow this procedure. Maximum I can give 5 marks for this derivation. 5 to 6 marks you can get for this derivation. Means I'm asking for the semester exam. For MCQs, GATE and all, you will be using these formulas and solving problems. So you have to remember this formula, very important. TEM is equal to KT by those terms. Okay. Now from here there are certain dependencies. We will plot we'll see the torque slip characteristics again. Now from this equations 1 and 2, this maximum torque equation and your maximum slip and maximum torque. Now this SMT is dependent upon your R2, right? This R2 is directly proportional to SMT. So if you change your rotor side resistance, your slip at which maximum torque occurs also changes, and both are directly proportional. So if you increase this, it will increase. If you decrease this, it will decrease. But if you look at this maximum torque term, there is no dependency upon your R2. It is completely independent of your R2. If you change your R2 also, the maximum value of torque doesn't depend. Now, if you recall your facts, RE and X from the previous slide, I'll just show you. RE and X are completely independent of your R2 term. See, there is RE and X we had already derived. There is no dependency of R2 term. So we can say our maximum torque is independent of your R2. So if you change your R2, maximum torque doesn't change, but slip at which maximum torque occurs changes. This is very important. Okay. So that's why I've written your first 7th point over here. From your equation number 1, which was SMT, slip at which maximum torque occurs directly depends upon your rotor resistance. So it changes linearly. But from 2, maximum torque is independent of your R2. So if you change your R2 by inserting external resistances, your SMT will change, but maximum torque remains constant. Now this occurs in which case? Only in case of your wound rotor induction motor. In the first class, we had studied 2 types of rotor conduction, squirrel cage and wound rotor induction motor. In squirrel cage, our rotor conductors were fixed by the end rings, so there was no facility to change your rotor resistance and all. But in your wound rotor induction motor or slip ring induction motor, we could connect external resistances and thereby the total rotor resistance could be changed. So in wound rotor induction motor, this is only applicable. Not we are talking about WRIM. That's why I have written WRIM over here, not about squirrel cage. Next, this is our value of your maximum torque. Now from here, you can see TEM is directly proportional to your KT. KT, last day we had used our equation and we just checked last day slide, we'll check it. See KT equation. KT was directly proportional to your VE square. VE was again coming from your stator side voltage. So this maximum torque is directly proportional to square of the stator voltage. So directly proportional to square of the stator voltage. So if you go on changing your supply voltage again and again, your maximum torque will change. But supply voltage is kept constant always. You don't change your supply voltage. So that's not a factor. So if you keep your supply voltage constant, your maximum torque will remain constant. Now TEM will be reduced if stator resistance R1 increases. Just now you had checked your formula RE. Okay, where was RE? In that RE there was a term R1. So if you increase your R1, since RE is in a denominator, your TEM will decrease. If this RE is increasing, obviously TEM will decrease because these are inversely proportional. And again, this X term consists of X2. So it is dependent upon your rotor leakage reactance. And in your RE, there was a term X1 also. So stator and rotor leakage reactances both affect your TEM. So if you try to change your stator and rotor leakage reactances, your TEM will change. But these are inversely proportional. So if you increase these values, this will be reduced. So these are the 3 points which we have written over here. Now in your torque slip characteristics, how it is affected. This is a load torque which we are taking. Slip is 0 at this point, right? And goes to 1 in this point. And if you remember, if you are asked torque slip characteristics, then slip is at 0 at this point and 1 at this point, like last day we have studied. And if you are asked the same thing, torque speed characteristic, for speed is 0 over here, speed will be ns over here. Because if that slip is equal to 0, nr will be equal to ns. So nr is equal to ns at this point. At this point, nr is equal to 0. So ns by ns gives you slip is equal to 1. So nr is equal to 0. So speed is increasing from left to right, slip is decreasing from left to right. So 1 to 0. Now you go on changing your load resistance, that is your R2, by adding external resistance for WRIM. We are discussing for wound rotor induction motor, not for squirrel cage. So if you go on increasing your R2, see R2, R2 triple dash is greater, the maximum, R2 double dash is lesser, R2 dash is far more lesser, and R2 is your original resistance plus some external resistance, maybe the minimum value of external resistance. Okay, now at this point, see, the maximum torque is constant because it is independent of your R2. Just now we had discussed. So maximum torque, if you change the resistance, also goes on becoming constant. But your slip at which maximum torque occurs is directly proportional to R2. So as you increase your R value, it will go on increasing. So slip is increasing from 0 to 1 in this side, from right to left. So slip at which maximum torque occurs first at this point. Then you are increasing the resistance. Now slip increases and comes to this point. Again you are increasing the resistance. It goes to this point. Again you are increasing the resistance. It goes to this point. Now if you go on increasing the resistances to R2 triple dash, then the mode of operation is obtained over here is in the braking region. This side was a braking region. This side was a generating region. So to obtain maximum torque at braking region, you should choose a resistance of R2 triple dash. So we are talking about motor region only. So we will deal with R2, R2 dash, R2 double dash. See over here, maximum torque remains same, but your slip remains changing, goes on changing. And if you go on seeing the load torque, now as your speed goes on increasing, your load torque slowly shifts in the bottom, goes in decreasing little bit, but it tries to remain constant. So there is not a major fluctuation over here. Now at the first point, see, when you are choosing R2, there is a speed N1. Then if you go on increasing the resistance, there is a drop of the N2. So you think if you go on increasing the load, what happens? At no load, there is maximum speed. At full load, what happens? The speed reduces. So the speed goes on reducing. So N1, N2, N3, N4, N5. It goes on reducing. So that's what I've written in the first point. Speed of the motor can be controlled by varying the rotor circuit resistance. If you go on increasing the resistance, there will be a slight drop in speed of the motor from no load to full load. But maximum torque is unaffected. Maximum torque is unaffected. Starting torque is obviously changed by varying your rotor resistance. We'll come to that. Okay. Load torque TL graph is reduced with increase in rotor resistance. So it is little bit reduced as you go on increasing the load value. And then up to triple dash, we'll get the maximum torque in braking mode only. So you don't choose R2 triple dash in this mode, motoring mode. This value of resistance will be chosen when we are operating the induction motor in braking mode only. Now, what happens to the current? Now, if you recall the equivalent circuit, you are going on increasing this R2, right? The total current of the circuit goes on reducing. As you increase the resistance, the value of this current will go on in reducing. So there is a reduction from R2 to R triple dash. There is a reduction of your current. And besides, your power factor will also change, because in the first class, second or third class, when we are studying a PG, torque and all equation, we had derived the theta 2 equation also, tan inverse Sx2 by R2. Or if you are not recalling the fact, this is a rotor circuit. What was, if my current I2 is entering in this direction, this is the RL circuit, what will be tan theta? Tan theta will be Rx2 by x2 by R2 by S. So Sx2 by R2. So that will be our tan theta value. And if you change your R2 value, because we are changing your R2 value, your theta will also change, and similarly cos of this theta will go on changing. So power factor will change as you change your R2. Now next is starting torque. This is another important equation which will be required for solving problems again. So what is at starting, what will happen? Your NR is 0, means a starting or standstill condition. Your rotor is not rotating, so NR will be 0. So what will be slip? NS minus 0 by NS, that gives you 1. So replace this S by 1. So replacing this S by 1, you will get TST. Now instead of M, I am writing ST because starting, KT by this equation into R. So now you can see your TEST is also dependent on R2. Like last point we had told over here. Starting torque can also be varied by changing your rotor circuit resistance. You can check in this formula. See, if your R2 varies, your TEST will also change. So there is a change in starting torque according to that. And slip at which starting torque occurs, maximum starting torque occurs. If you write SMT is equal to R2 by RA X2. Now, at this point, what happens? Slip is 1 always, so SMT will be 1. So if you replace S by 1, R2 will be equal to root over RE square plus X square. So this should be the value of R2 chosen at starting to get this value maximum, TEST to be maximum. So these two relations, equation number 2 and equation number 3 will require in next. These things, two things we'll discuss just now. Only for required for solving problems. This relation number 4 and next relation number 5 will be required for solving problem, and as well as in semester you may be asked to derive this. Like I may ask you derive motor torque in terms of maximum torque. Okay. For this one, starting torque in terms of maximum torque, we can do this derivation in our semester exam. Okay, and using these formulas also some problems may be solved. So T was written out to be KT by RE plus R2 whole square plus X square into R2 by S, and TEM we had already calculated, it is KT by 2I's R2 plus RE plus RE square plus X square root plus RE. This is already we had calculated. Now we are deriving the relation between motor torque T and TM. That's why we had written the two equations. Then divide anything T by TM or TM by T, whichever you want, you can derive it, no problem. I am dividing it T by TM. So this T remains in the numerator. This TM goes in the denominator. So this KT and KT cancels out. So this term remains fixed as it is in the numerator. So I have written this term, see, R2 by S, RE plus R2 by S whole square plus X square. This term remains. This KT is already cancelled out. Now what is the term over here? 1 by this term. So this is in the denominator term. Since it is divide, since TM is in the division, this denominator will go in the numerator. So this goes in the numerator. Okay. Now for some approximations, this RE is neglected. Okay, this RE is neglected. This RE, if neglected, what you will get? X square. Square root of X square will give you X. So I'm writing the term again. So R2 by S, RE is neglected. So we'll have R2 by S whole square from this. This is X square. This RE neglected. So square root of X square gives you X. So X over there. Now, we had also known from 1, what was SMT? SMT was R2 by RE square plus X square. So R2 can be written as SMT into square root of this term. RE plus X square was termed as X. So square R2 is equal to SMT into capital X. Okay. I have used some terms over here. Root over RE plus X square, RE plus JX was equal to this one. Okay. Now since RE is neglected, you can neglect this RE. So square root of X square is given by square root X only. So R2 is equal to SMTX. So wherever you are getting R2 in this equation, replace it by SMTX. replace it by SMTx. So SMTx by x, s first term becomes, the lower term R2 is replaced by SMTx, so SMTx by s whole square plus x square into twice x. Okay. Just do the multiplication. So this is in the numerator, 2x into x gives you 2x square, SMT by s. Take x square common over here. We have to make some simplification and bring in this term. So x square is taken common over here. So if you take x square common, there is a x square term over here. So only which is left, SMT by s whole square. So SMT by s whole square is left. X square taken common, so you'll get 1 over here. This x square and this x square cancels out. So you will have in the numerator 2 SMT by s divided by this one. So this x square cancels out. So 2 SMT by s by this one you will get. Now if you bring this SMT by s in the denominator, what you will get, you will write as s by SMT. So 2 by s by SMT into SMT by s whole square plus 1. This is our equation. So multiply this s by SMT inside. So see, this s and s cancels out. SMT and SMT, 1 SMT and SMT cancels out. So only what remains? SMT by s, this term. And s by SMT plus, into 1 gives you s by SMT only. So s by SMT by s plus s by SMT. This TEM comes in the numerator. So T is equal to twice TEM by SMT by s plus s by SMT. Very important relation of motor torque and maximum torque. Equation will be required to derive also in semester exam, and some problems will later see how to solve problems using this relation. Same goes for this starting torque. We have written the TEST equation. We have written the maximum equation. Then divide any one by any one. Means you can divide TEST by TM or the opposite way, whichever you like. So TEST by TM is equal to, so this is in the numerator, this is in the denominator. So KT anyhow cancels out. This term remains same, R2 by this term, R2 by RE plus R2 whole square plus x square. This denominator term comes in the numerator, so it goes in the numerator. Then what we'll do, we'll make some approximation by eliminating RE. RE eliminated, so the lower term becomes R2 square plus x square. So lower term becomes R2 square plus x square. This term, this RE neglected, so this term becomes twice x. So this term becomes twice x. Now again replace the value, R2 is equal to SMTx. R2 is equal to SMTx over here. So replace it, R2 is equal to SMTx into twice x by SMTx whole square plus x square. So this becomes, this x and x multiplies, so twice SMTx square divided by, you take again x square common. So x square if taken common, there will be a term SMT square over here and 1 over here. So this x square and x square cancels out. You will get twice SMT by SMT square plus 1. So TEST by TEM, again bring SMT in the numerator or the denominator, or take SMT common from here. If you take SMT common from here, this denominator and numerator SMT cancels out. So this here is only 2 over here. So if you take SMT common, you will get SMT plus 1 by SMT. DST by TEM is equal to 2 relation. This is equation number 5. Now, this derivation can come for your exam. To remember, how can you remember this easily? You can remember only this equation only. Now, at what slip starting torque occurs? S equal to 1. Replace this S by 1. What you will get? TEM will be replaced by TEST. So twice TEST by SMT by 1 plus 1 by SMT. So this is the equation we get. Twice TEM, SMT plus 1 by SMT. So in case of competitive exam, no need to remember all these derivations and all. You remember this equation, and since slip is equal to 1 means starting torque occurs, so replace that S by 1, you will get this relation. Acha, if anybody has doubt, you can tell me. Okay, up to this we